What's up, YouTube? My first time with the Rode Lavalier Plus mic. I know it's going to be a lot better than that Purple Panda, but I don't know how good it's going to be, so this is kind of a test. There's some things I wanted to talk about, and of course when I want to record it, it can't remember, so kind of a shitty day today, and that's what happens when you're living in Colorado. Is you got awesome sunny days, and then the next week it's gonna be shitty, and it's gonna rain, it's gonna snow. I had kind of an incident on this meetup group on Facebook called the Colorado Motorcycle Meetup, where someone was in a group ride and another rider did something stupid and crashed into them, and that person got broken bones, got slapped with a ticket. Of course, their bike's wrecked, or and that person who caused it fled. So we're kind of looking for the post about, if there's any information, let us know, kind of thing. And someone had the good idea of posting comment, don't snitch, quote unquote, don't snitch. And the person who said don't snitch's justification for that comment is, well, we don't all share the same values, and your reality is different than another person's reality, and whatnot. And there's people telling them to sell his bike, you don't need we don't need your kind of rider in the community and whatnot. And so we're just trying to see where that guy's head's at. I'm like, so if someone's crashing into you and flip flies away, and you're stuck with a ticket and all this and all that, and you're blamed, you get all the blame on you, then is that okay still? Like, would you still say don't snitch? Like, what's we need some accountability for what goes on. You need to take accountability for your stupid mistake. Even if it is an accident, you can't just say, oh, it's an accident, and so therefore I don't snitch. It's like, well, no, you need to take accountability. We need to hold the people accountable that are being stupid and hurting other people. And I was trying to explain to him, well, the very definition of imposing your values on others is what that guy did. And it's pretty plain and obvious to everybody. So he did like a 360 or a 180 and was like, oh, well, I'm not saying, this and that. And, it's saying it's the value. People have different values and this and that. And, it's like, well, what the hell? It's really interesting how people think. You got some riders out there that, you got the opposite ends of the spectrum, like, oh, go straight 100% to the law, get your 1000cc sport bike on the road and just follow the speed limit the entire time, and it's like, okay, yeah, you're gonna give a cool toy to some kid and tell the kid that you only use 20% of that cool toy. It's like, well, why'd you give me that cool toy? I know it's not, it's no one's responsibility to, say that, like, what I mean is, like, when, you buy something, it's like, well, it's not our fault you bought it, kind of thing. Well, that's, the laws are kind of all, like, all over the place with that. They cause all sorts of, like, oh, you can buy this, and, oh, if you have enough money, you can get away with this, and it's like, well, there's no morality there. It's not necessarily what people say, oh, it's the law, but it's not necessarily what's moral. Being moral is taking accountability for what you do, and as long as you're not hurting anybody and or damaging their property or whatever like that, then you should be good to go, you know. Of course, there's hella gray areas, like, what if you expel toxic fumes and cause someone's life to be shortened by 0.0001. It's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to get into that right now. So I know this is probably old news, but like the whole deal about, OnlyFans, like the bot house chicks and like the simps and like Bonnie Blue and what other chick is doing these challenges of like sleeping with 1,000 men in a day, or like taking it in the back door from 50 dudes in a day. It's just like another sign of, we're in the, I don't want to say end times of people in general, but like as far as the paradigm goes of like who gets to say what's right and what's wrong within the society, making up their policies and whatnot. It's like, well, you're rewarding people for being whores and slaves, and it's either that or you work a shit job, 40 plus hours a week or whatever it is, and you bust your arse for pennies when they're just dancing around because they were blessed with their parents' genetic traits, and so we're rewarding you for being, having a bunch of simps send you a bunch of money and gawk over you, because I'll have to get into the psychology of that in another video, because that's like, that kind of segues into a lot of stuff. So the people simping and that's what the problem is that these guys, they're not getting the love they need, number one, from the community or their parents or their parents. So they're trying to fill that void up, and I totally understand it now that since I got married and we had our first child. So I get that, like like sex is great, but having that family, that love and care and aid in your life, like that is very fulfilling. And of course I know I'll have sex eventually, and it's on top of that and all the good stuff, of the good things in life. But you can't really replace family. Like just the community is like, we're supposed to be a bunch of loving, caring families that get together and form these communities to have synergy, and that love multiplies. So love multiplies and fear divides. If you get anything from this, it's love multiplies, fear divides. When you got the don't snitch dudes, and they're trying to justify their logic of don't snitch on don't snitch to someone who caused harm to someone else. That's I talked with my wife, and she's like, that's literally like definition of psychopathic, right? Like, so we got people who are whoring themselves out their bodies, and they have these TikTok videos aimed towards children, and then you have the degeneracy of that, not saying it's the cause of the family structure not being as strong as it could, but I'm saying that, it's a kind of a root cause of, the family structure it goes hand in hand. The family structure is dwindling, because you gotta move out at 18, you gotta make your own way, You know, we have like 10 houses or whatever, but you know, I made it on my own, and so you know, you have to make it on your own. Like, you know, that is right. That's not taking accountability for the baby or whatever, the being that you put on this earth, in this plane. You're saying, oh, it has to make its own way now because I nursed it to this point. It's like, no, that's not really how it works. Like, family's family. You know, we're going to help each other out. You know, there's it comes to, like, you know, we have so many interests today. It's like, of course you can't control 100% what your, you know, what happens, you know, what interests your kid has, but you can nurture the positive ones, you know, and the ones that are not so positive you can just, you know, not ignore, but just, you're not there for that, you know. And you want to build that, again, it comes back to the community and family structure. Like, you want to have that positive force, and you want that aura to be there, solid, you know, and you want that to stick. So, you know, it's like you can eat so many candy bars or sugar sticks till you realize that, hey, I'm feeling this high, but I'm not feeling like fulfilled. I'm not feeling fed. I'm not feeling nurtured. And that's what we got, you know. We got the OnlyFans porno and all this stuff, and these guys are just, you know, since I don't know, like, there's a whole different bunch of psyops. It's like, you know, the feminism and you know, the 9 to 5 stuff, you know. It just kind of like, kind of makes you wonder, like, you know, there's more billionaires now than ever, and they're like, oh, let's go to space, you know, fuck all these starving people and people in the struggle. Like, yeah, I made my money off them, but fuck them, you know. They took the bait. And, you know, that's more psychopathy, and that's why you got people who are like, don't snitch, you know, because we got people that we put in place as leaders, and we don't take accountability for ourselves. When you don't take accountability for yourself, and you're putting power into something else, higher, quote-unquote, higher force, you know, in your opinion, or whatever, government or leaders, what you're doing is you're putting the reins into someone's hands that doesn't know 100% where you're coming from. He doesn't know 100% what your values and stuff are, you know. It's stupid, you know, and there's a solution for that. When you know, the OnlyFans, the simps, you know, I was kind of in that desperation mode before I met my wife. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, you need some sort of, you get jealous, you know. You're like, well, these guys are, you know, having all the sex and getting all the testosterone boosts, and like, they're regularly in the mood through that, you know, it helps them out in their daily life and all that good stuff. I get it. Like, it sucks that there's women out there that, I don't know that side, you know. If the women, they're not saying, hey, just give us sex. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, you know, the family unit, it's like, when you're feminine and you're like, oh, I'm strong and independent, it's like, you're ridiculous. Like, no, there's two to the tango, you know. There's like two parts make the one, the whole. You know, the male and the female polarities. You have the paternal, you know, the pattern paternal, and then you have the material, the maternal. And the paternal puts the pattern within that material, and that's why you get that structure. You know, you get the marriage between male and female polarity. And with, you know, and what do you see in society right now? You see the polarities against each other. You see that, you know, me versus you. You have this team versus this team. Like, it's ridiculous. And, you know, when you say, oh, it's for, you know, healthy competition, this and that. Well, there's better ways. Yes, but when you have full arenas of people that cause rioting because one team lost, then you got an issue. You know, you have like, why, you know, what's up with that? Like, and they want us to focus on other things, you know, like nonsense that is just a symptom of the real cause. So, you know, you got people who are making mega bucks on, you know, just TikTok videos and OnlyFans stuff, and that's totally, you know, it's like, you wonder whose fault is it, because you got these simps going for these OnlyFans, like they're paying a lot of money to see these women or whatever. I don't even call them women, they're like little girls psychologically. So like, you got these dudes paying a lot of money to see these little girls, you know, be nude and stuff. It's like, well, you know, where's the accountability with that, you know, with the males? Like, you can play victim all day long, and oh, the economy, and I can't, you know, feminism and this and that, but where's the solution? Starts now, right? You can't do anything in the future, you can't do anything in the past, you got to do it now. So it all starts now. Like, you know, no matter what happens, the future and the past or whatever, it doesn't matter, it's all now. So, you know, are you gonna just jack off and spill your load of money and whatever into these women who don't give a living shit about you? All they want is the attention and money. They themselves are fractured psychologically, and you know, you fall in love with something that's not on the same intelligence, the same psychological, mental, spiritual, emotional, physical level as you. There's something wrong with that. You know, there's both parties are you know, messed up, or not messed up, that's negative, but you know, both have stuff to learn, and there's a lot of ego that goes into that, you know, because, you know, oh shit, we're making 600,000, a million a quarter. Like, really, it's not gonna, you know. And then there's all these arguments, but that's quick, fast money, right? And that's the feed, right? Like you got all these YouTubers that are like putting out like how to get more views, how to go viral, how to, you know, and they're all like, oh, just do what everyone else is doing, do what's getting the most views, do this. It's like, that's promoting being a whore. You're a whore. You're not sticking up for your values. You're not sticking up for what you believe, for what you know, and for what you want, for creativity. You want to just basically have the easy route, and you want to have that cush, you know, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to do that, right? So it's like how they say, how high, you know, they say jump, you say how high. It's like, no, YouTubers, no, that's not that's not healthy, in my opinion. No, you stick to your guns, you know, you stick to your guns, and if a lot of people don't dig it, that's cool, whatever. Like, you stick to your guns, like, that's better than being a corporate whore, isn't it? So what I'm getting at is, you know, where's the love at? You know, these OnlyFans chicks aren't going to necessarily start just taking care of people, you know, and with their money, because, oh, you know, the billionaires aren't doing that already, so I'm just going to get mine and keep it to myself, you know, while doing the one thing that gets me the most money for the least amount of effort. You know, like, they don't have the spiritual knowledge to know that if you, that over, you know, evolution or whatever, creation, let's say creation over a long period of time, like, you're going to become totally just dependent. You know, that's the opposite of independence. You're going to be completely dependent on the viewpoints and habits and capabilities of other people to put that money in your hand. That's not independence. There's the word itself, you know, independence. No, like, that's not sovereignty.